Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margo Moss. Midnight Menu Plus One is a food lifestyle show on the podcast network itsneworleans.com. Brought to us tonight by Petite Pet Care. While you're at work or on vacation, you don't have to board your pet. He can stay in the comfort of his own home. For loving care when you're not there, Petite Pet Care. Find them at petitepetcare.com.
Each week on Midnight Menu Plus One, Margo and I invite a member of New Orleans restaurant and food community to join us. And we invite them to bring along their own guest to Plus One. We never know who their Plus One's going to be. Sometimes it's a friend, a neighbor, a family member, a fellow restaurant colleague. Well, tonight we're at the tap room. The NOLA Brewing's tap room is NOLA Brewing's on-site watering hole located in the Irish Channel on Tchoupitoulas near Louisiana Avenue. The tap room serves NOLA's regular lineup of craft beers as well as 8 specialty brews you can't get anywhere else. Open weeknights from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. and weekends from 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. Well, a special guest on Midnight Menu Plus One tonight is Luis Arocha, Executive Director of Cafe Hope, and I cannot wait to talk to him and his mystery guest. But before Luis arrives, Margo, how was your eating this week? Anything noteworthy to share with our listeners?
Well, I'm still eating leftovers from the holidays.
Yeah.
So I haven't gone out much. Have you have anything exciting?
Yeah, we had a bunch of people over, and we had a ton of food left over, but we did go out a few times. We went to Willie Mays, has their second site. I mean, that's kind of a epic-making event, right? Willie Mays has been a bar since, the 30s, I guess, and been a restaurant there since 1957, and now they have a second site, no longer just in the Trenasse, now also in Uptown on St. Charles. And it's every bit as great as the last time I went. I just enjoyed it so much. It felt like it had the same sort of vibe to it, but just sort of more in Uptown, so a little different, but basic same vibe. Butter beans were the best I ever had in my life. Chicken was fantastic. You can't tell where the batter ends and the skin begins, kind of fused together in that magical way that they do it. I don't understand how. And just the right amount of spices, not too salty, not oily, just fantastic. I just had such a great. I can't say enough about it. I'm so excited there. We were so close to my home now. I can go much more often.
Well, that's exciting. Well, let me just ask you one question. Did you had leftovers?
Yes.
You did? A
little bit, yeah.
A little bit? All right.
No, I didn't eat it all in one sitting. Well, I mean, the thing was, we had a bunch of people over, and oh, yeah, I know why you're asking. Because of my mother-in-law. We had to talk with her. She's never going to hear the show. She doesn't know how to use a computer.
Okay. I didn't want to put you on the spot. I
wonder what that big grin was. I thought you meant like I eat it all in one sitting. Okay, no, yeah. My mother-in-law has a habit of mixing all the leftovers together, and she's done it 2 Thanksgivings in a row. So we had to talk with her, and she denied ever doing it. She said she just added a little butter to something or whatever. But we so we got her. She agreed completely. She wasn't going to do it. And right after dinner, she goes, 10 minutes after we have the conversation, she goes, okay, let me put these 2 together. I'm like, what? You just said you were? He's like, no. I mean, what, you like it dry? And I'm like, no, I don't like it dry. I just don't want you to mix 2 things that don't belong together. So anyway, but she was fine. She behaved herself. It was great. We had a wonderful time. So good seeing her. And the meal was fantastic too.
Wonderful.
And my dread was worse than the reality on that one. Okay. Well, let's get to our guest now. I'm so excited to have with us Luis Arocha, Executive Director of Cafe Hope on 1101 Barataria. I don't even know how to say that boulevard. I have no idea what that is. Never been out to Marrero before.
Barataria.
Where is Marrero?
Oh my God! I can't do this show.
He's
That's Westbank,
really
man.
not
That's over
from
on the
here.
Westbank. Okay.
And he walks everywhere, so we have a hard time getting him outside of his neighborhood.
I know the Westbank. It's south of us here. It's not west of us, south of us.
Yeah, it's south of us. That makes sense, doesn't it? Well, we'll have to get you over to Cafe Hope.
Show you the
I've
Westbank.
heard
So many great things about it. Tell us about Cafe Hope.
Well, Cafe Hope is a program that works with at-risk youth ages 17 to 23, and it's a 16-week program. And essentially, what we're trying to do is put them on a path to self-sufficiency. So we bring them in the first 4 weeks. They don't go into the kitchen. They don't go into the dining room. They spend 4 weeks in life skills. We like to say that's kind of the holistic approach to them. You can give them restaurant skills, you can give them knife skills, and you put them in a workplace. If they can't get along with people and they don't know how to communicate, they're not going to keep a job anyway.
Now, who are these kids?
17 to 23, at-risk youth. They come to the program free. They're referred in by church organizations. We do work with some probation officers. They take them in and give them a second chance. And it's just about giving these young people a chance to get on that path to self-sufficiency, to take care of themselves. So, again, first 4 weeks in life skills. We'll do some financial literacy. We do some spirituality. We'll start the culinary program, so they'll start learning some of the knife skills and learning something about food. We do some horticulture. We're a seed-to-table restaurant. We have a 1.5 acre garden right next door outside, and so they get to go in the garden and learn where food comes from and what healthy food is all about. And then once they finish the 4 weeks, they go 6 weeks in the kitchen. We got 3 chefs on staff. So they'll learn everything from presentation skills. They'll learn how to read a recipe, how to put a recipe together. And then they'll finish their 6 weeks in the kitchen. They go onto the floor for 6 weeks. They learn the POS system. They learn to set a table. They learn to serve. And I know a lot of people, when we talk about the program, the sexy part is being in the kitchen. All the kids want to be in the kitchen. But honestly, what we see is a lot of growth, a lot of personal growth when they're on the floor of the restaurant, because that's where they learn to communicate with people. They have to look people in the eyes, and they have to learn how to speak to them and be polite. And they also learn that there's a community out there that wants to support them. Not everybody's against them. There are people out there that want to support them and want to help them get on that path to self-sufficiency. So those things are really important.
That's wonderful.
So you mentioned spirituality, and is this a church-based organization or Christian-based organization? Or what is it?
Spiritual-based, yeah.
Uh-huh. So what does that mean?
Our first 3 years, we're 4 years old now. Our first 3 years, we were an affiliate ministry of Catholic Charities.
Oh, yeah.
And last July, we broke away and we started our own 501c3. But we don't want to get away from that. I mean, we want to be spiritual. We want to try to teach these young people that there's a higher being that you can pray to and ask for help and find some peace. You don't necessarily have to believe in God, I guess, if you don't want to, but that there's places you can go in your own mind and find some peace and not be so tormented and torn apart by what goes on in your daily life.
So can you share with us just someone that comes into mind, that someone that you've worked with that
one of the students?
Yeah.
I guess right now one of my favorites is his name is Byron, and Byron was one of the kids that his grandmother actually dragged him into the restaurant, and Byron's got the locks, the dreads, and so his grandmother literally drug him through the door by his locks, drug him into the door because he didn't want to do the program, and he completed the program. And we got him a job, and the restaurant closed down pretty quick. It was a little mom and pop shop on the Westbank. And then one of our board members got him an opportunity to interview on the Natchez. And so Byron took the job on the Natchez, and he is knocking on 4 years of employment on the Natchez. Wow. And during the summer, my wife and I, we were on a little mini vacation. You don't get the vacations are not too great when you're doing this. You can't be away too long. But we were on vacation. She said, promise me you're not going to do any Cafe Hope business. And I said, all right, I promise. No Cafe Hope business for 3 days. My cell phone went off, and Byron's name popped up. And I just looked at my wife, and I said, he never calls. Something's wrong. I got to talk to him. So I immediately called him back, and I said, hey, is everything all right? And he said, Mr. Lou, I'm just calling to say thank you. And I said, well, what are you thanking me for, man? Are you okay? He says, I'm fine, but I just want to say thank you. And I said, well, what are you saying thank you for? He said, I just got promoted to kitchen manager on the Natchez.
Wow.
So we're really proud of Byron right now, and that's huge for him. I think, he's been through 2 or 3 head chefs on the boat, and they've been really good to him. And Gordon Stevens, the owner of the Natchez, has been incredible to Cafe Hope as well. But we're really proud of Byron and the things that he's accomplished. But we have 4 or 5 kids inside the Best Restaurant Group. Some small restaurants on the Westbank. We got a young man that one of the local grocers took him in and is teaching him how to be a butcher. Well, they don't call them butchers, right? It's meat cutter. It's an insult now to be a butcher.
Really?
So, meat cutter.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, but he's again another kid that's been there for 4 years, and he just didn't get a job. He's got a career now. It doesn't matter where he goes. He's got that ability to cut meat, and he can go anywhere and work. So that's what it's all about.
Huh. So how many kids are in the program at a given time?
Well, it's 3 classes at any given time. The seeds part of the program, we usually take in about 12 to 15 kids. Our kitchen is really small, so after that we have to cut down to 6 or 8. So at any time we'll have 15 in the first 4 weeks, and then it goes down to 6 for the next 12 weeks. So 12, it'll be 6, 6, and 15.
So some kids want to stay in, but are let go because you don't have room for
Well,
them?
it's competitive. I think most of them want to stay. It's just we pick the kids who have the best attitudes. If you're showing up on time, we want to reward the kids who are taking the life skills seriously. They're learning it and they're putting it into practice immediately. Those are the kids that go through into the internship.
Well, that probably that's a natural part of life. Is if you work hard, you'll make it to the next level. So I could understand that would be something.
No, it's laying the foundation. I don't think there's any kitchen in the city that's not that way. You work hard, you get an opportunity to go from the dish room to a prep cook. And if you do great at prep cook and you show up every day and you bust your butt, you get a chance to maybe be a line cook one day. And then who knows where it goes. But yeah, I mean, it's a system of rewards, and it's got to be that way. We're trying to get them ready for real life and for the real world. And so you have to make that as real as possible. So the guys with the best attitudes, the guys who show up on time, the guys who volunteer to do extra work, that's the ones who get into the internship.
So they're getting paid?
No pay.
So they're
the only thing they
unpaid
get paid
interns.
is we're open on a Friday night. So we're open on Friday nights from 6 to 9. So if they work a Friday night, if they work Friday nights, we pay them a salary. And then we do a lot of catering. So
Because they want to be there Friday nights because they want to be out?
Yeah, they want to be out with their friends running the streets, That's not what the real world's about. And then we do a lot of catering. And so if they work a catering event, they get paid for the catering events too.
Oh,
so
okay.
we give them a chance to make
Are
money.
there women too, or is it just guys?
Oh, yeah, no. I say guys. It's it's a New Orleans thing, I guess. I say I guys, but it's I guys and I gals. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And the restaurant, I'm sorry if you already said this, but when's the restaurant open?
We're open for lunch Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2, and then we do a Friday night dinner from 6 to 9. And we kind of try to keep Saturday and Sundays open for catering because we, rent the restaurant out for catering events. We do on-site and off-site catering, but a lot of it's been on-site.
So what's the food like? What style is it?
I think it's Southern style. Again, we, out of necessity, to try to stretch the dollar and be good stewards of the money that people donate to us. And we started a garden just to save money, to be honest with you. It's like, how can we save money? Oh, we got this land, let's start a garden. But it's turned out to be a teaching tool. So it's fresh. We're taking a lot of good food out of the garden. There's a lot of kale and Swiss chard growing right now, a lot of broccoli and... Oh my God, we got a arugula.
So you wouldn't be sustainable as a restaurant if you weren't getting donations and also getting the unpaid interns, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's the only way that it's it's a nonprofit, but you're still responsible for paying the bills. You're still responsible for keeping the program open. Gordon Wadge, who was the president of Catholic Charities, used to always say to me, "Hey, no money, no mission." And so it's the truth, So we're fortunate in that we can be self-sustainable. A lot of nonprofits don't have the opportunity that we have to make money to keep ourselves open. So that's really important. That's why we chose the restaurant business and the hospitality industry. So that's really important for us.
So go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got interested in this avenue.
Well, my story's a little odd. I was actually the first chairman of the board at Cafe Hope and resigned as chairman of the board to become the executive director. We made a change at the executive director level, and we didn't have anybody in mind, and I was working for a family business. So I went and talked to my dad, go talk to Pops,
Is it a restaurant business?
No. We were in financial services in a family business. And I said, we need somebody over there. And I said, I need 2 weeks. And so I went for 2 weeks with his blessing. 2 weeks turned into 2 months, and people started saying, "Hey, I see a change in you. You seem really happy. What's going on? What's the difference?" And I guess I started seeing myself and kind of committed to being with the kids. I enjoyed being around them. I enjoyed what we were doing, and 4 years later, here we are. But to answer your first question, I got into it because our founder is an attorney on the Westbank. His name is Tim Falcon. And Tim was the one of the co-founders of Cafe Reconcile. So Tim and Craig Cucci and Father Harry Thompson started Reconcile. And before it was Reconcile, it was Kids Cafe. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was Kids Cafe. So what they did in the beginning was they'd go into the projects and they'd bring kids in, and they would feed them what would be a sit-down meal, a really nice sit-down meal. So Tim called one night, and they were looking for volunteers, family group volunteers to be with the kids that they brought in. And we said, sure, we'll volunteer. Be a good thing for our kids to see. And what happened that night kind of changed my wife and I forever. So we went in. My oldest son went into the kitchen to help cook. My wife and I and my two youngest, we sat at the table, and we hosted 3 brothers, ages 8, 6, and 4. And I'll never forget that night they served meatballs and spaghetti. And so, our job was just to talk to them, make sure everything was going good for them, teach them how to pray. We did a little praying, we did some grace. And the meatballs and spaghetti came out, and our family started eating. And we looked around the table at these 3 young brothers, and they started eating with their hands. And I guess our faces just kind of dropped, and Tim immediately ran over and said, "Hey, I should have prepared you for this, what you were going to see." And on the ride home, we just thought, in the United States, in the city of New Orleans, to think that there were brothers or families or just people who haven't had the opportunity to eat with a knife and fork. My God.
Yeah.
When
was that?
My parents, obviously, that's about 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
My parents obviously did a good job of sheltering me because I had no idea that there were still people who didn't eat with knives and forks. And so that night, that changed us both, and we stayed committed to Kids Cafe and did some work with Cafe Reconcile. And then Tim called and said, "Hey, you interested in being on board of Cafe Hope? It's a program I'm starting on the Westbank." It took all of 10 seconds to say yes. And so that's how I got involved with Cafe Hope.
That's a wonderful story.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Welcome.
Well, looks like your +1 is here. Why don't
Plus-
you tell
plus-
us who this is and why you brought him?
+1 is here, and the quick story. We needed to have we had a fundraiser coming up. We got a fundraiser coming up in December, and we were looking for some restaurants to help out to donate some food. We're going to be on the Natchez on December 12th, and a friend of ours called and said, "Hey, there's this new restaurant opening up in the city. It's called Trenasse." And Chef Richard's got a place down in Santa Rosa Beach called Stinky's Fish Camp. And my wife and I had actually been there to eat, so I was like, wow, that's awesome. So we got an opportunity to get him on the phone, and we talked for 20 minutes, never met in person, 20 minutes on the phone. He jumped in and said, "I'm all in. I'm committed. What can I do? I want to help Cafe Hope. We want to be at the event in December." And so I thought it would be a great opportunity to bring somebody from his staff over to talk about Trenasse a little bit and give them some props for just coming to the city, but already jumping in and becoming a fabric. I mean, that's what we're known for in New Orleans, right? Just jumping in and helping people out. And it didn't take Chef long to do that. So we're really happy to be one of their first contacts to Hope and first friends. And we think this is going to be a relationship that will grow over time. And we hope it's mutually beneficial. So this is Mr. Stan Meadows. He's the Director of Operations for Trenasse, and he's been with Chef down at Stinky's for a while. I think they've been partners in crime for a long time, huh, Stan?
About 8 years. It's really good to be a part of your organization here, and we feel like we're a part of it. We're committed to it. So we're glad to be in town.
Well, welcome. So how long have y'all been in the works for a local restaurant?
We've been in New Orleans. We opened our restaurant 8 days ago.
Oh.
We've been working on it for a while. We're very familiar with New Orleans. Chef Richard worked at Commander's Palace for many years and comes from Lafayette, Louisiana. So we're well rooted in this area, we feel like.
So tell us where the restaurant is.
The restaurant's in the storefront of the Intercontinental Hotel on St. Charles Avenue.
All right. Okay, and it's open now?
Yeah, it is open. We're open for lunch. We open at 10:30 in the morning. Stay open all day until we get to dinner, and we start serving dinner at 5.
What that used to be, that space?
It was nothing. The Intercontinental Hotel just went through a $36 million renovation.
Huh.
So they built Trenasse in as part of it.
And so there hadn't been a restaurant at the Intercontinental before that?
No, not at all. Actually, the Intercontinental people ate at Stinky's Fish Camp in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, and they decided to ask us to come over and give us this opportunity.
All right.
So they kind of sought y'all out. And
I probably shouldn't be saying that right now, but I'll say it.
All right. Well, what were you doing in Florida? Were you in operations in Florida as well?
Right. I've been with Stinky's Fish Camp since day one, and we opened up Stinky's and had a lot of successes with the food, and diligently just built a business and was offered this opportunity, so we took it.
Okay. You're not sad to leave the beach for the
No, I do miss my
Big
dog,
Easy?
LW. He's probably the best dog in the world, but besides that, I'm cool here.
Okay.
Wait, so now I was a little unclear. I'm sorry. So Chef Richard was the chef at Stinky's?
He
He
owns
is still.
Stinky's.
Oh, he
He's
owns
the
it. Okay.
Chef owner of Stinky.
So he's
yes.
not here at Trenasse, but he's
He is here at Trenasse. He came over to open. He's just gone back to the beach for today.
Oh, okay, but he's going to be the chef on site here, or?
Yes.
Oh.
Him and his team. He's got a collaborating chefs.
Okay.
Collaborating people, about 3 chefs working with him on it.
All right.
And what kind of fare is it going to be? What?
We serve fresh, local Gulf seafood, and we serve the wetlands food of the rabbit, some alligator tamales, duck,
Ooh.
and we can't forget about the ribeye steak.
All right. Now, is that similar to what was served at Stinky's, or pretty similar menu, or no?
Well, of course, the food quality is going to be the same because of Chef Richard and his team. They've designed a whole new menu for Trenasse.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's one of the things that we have in common too. Is that same thing for us? Our seafood comes from the Gulf. If it's not from the Gulf of Mexico, we don't serve it. And we're certainly not as fancy as Trenasse because we're teaching, but we believe in the same things. I think that's why the synergy hits so fast. I mean, if we're not growing it in our garden, we're at the local food markets buying. He's out at chefs out at the markets on Saturdays buying vegetables for the week, and I think Chef Richard believes in the same things. He wants to put the money back into the economy in New Orleans. I think that's really important. So support our local farmers and fisheries. I think that's what it's all about.
So what does your partnership look like for this event? And tell us about this event. It's coming up on Friday, December 12th? Is that
Friday,
right?
December 12th. Again, Gordon Stevens of the Natchez has been really, really good to us. So he donated the boat to us. So we have Trenasse and Luke is going to be on the boat.
Oh, wow.
And we have Marcelo's on the boat. 1718 Catering from the Hyatt Regency will be doing a little food for us, and we have 3 dessert guys coming in. We got Riley's Pies coming in to do some mini cupcakes. We got Debbie Does Dough Bash, and the District's coming in to do some donuts. We're going to do a donut.
Oh, wow, they're
for
great,
some,
yeah.
Absolutely. Some
Had them
really
on our
great
show.
guys
They're
over there as
wonderful,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Terrific. So it's a fundraiser for Cafe Hope. Is that what it is?
Fundraiser for Cafe Hope. 100% of it comes back to Cafe Hope. I think we're going to, so far, the numbers look pretty good. It's relatively inexpensive for what it is. It's $100 a person, but you got 5 great restaurants that are going to be there, and then we have an open bar. Obviously, it wouldn't be New Orleans without an open bar. So open bar, and then we have some music. We have
Don't invite Margo. She'll bankrupt you.
Well,
on the
we'll
open
invite
bar.
Margo. Margo's welcome. We got Luther Kent and the Dukes of Dixieland are going to perform that night
great.
as well. So,
all right. Sounds
really,
like a great time.
I think it's going to be spectacular. This is
What's the web address people can go to purchase the tickets?
www.cafehope.org.
Okay.
Yeah, so we hope people come out and support it. Again, just like the restaurant, just like this event, every dollar that you put into it, every dollar that you spend at Cafe Hope comes right back into our community, goes into the kids. Nobody's trying to make any money off of it. We just looking to keep the doors open and keep these kids going.
So if our listeners hear this, because our shows remain on permanently, if the listeners that listen to this after December 12th, if they're unable to go to the event,
we'll still take their money.
You can still take their money? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Same place. Is there a giving button, I guess, there where they can? Okay.
Yeah, there's a give button where you can do it, but we'd love to have them come out to the restaurant. We're always looking for guest speakers, and we like to say it's not always restaurant people that make good guest speakers. It's anybody that's...
Now you have people speak at the meal?
Well, not so much at the meal, but just come in and speak in the classes, during life skills and everything. We like to have guest speakers come in. And it's just about them hearing success stories. It's about them hearing stories of people who started out where they're at and just through diligence and fight and heart that they've made it. And that's the stories they need to hear. And it doesn't have to be the restaurant business. It's great when it is, but it doesn't have to be. We just want them to know that they can make it. And if they see other people that have made it, makes it a little bit easier for them.
So you have people from all different walks of life. You have business people and professionals and probably clergy and so forth come and speak to the group. Yeah,
absolutely.
So I'm assuming they're not
radio
all Catholic
hosts
as well. Radio hosts. I'm radio host and clergy. So that's, it's
Two birds with one stone. I'd love to have you.
Yeah. And that's interesting. All right, so that's good for our listeners to know too. If they want to be able to find a way to help, they can help financially. You can help by dining at your place. They can also help by contacting you about coming in and speaking to your course.
Come pull some weeds in the garden. We'll take
pull some weeds in the garden. All right,
absolutely.
What about children? Like, will you let people
Yeah.
come volunteer with
No,
their kids
absolutely.
to help weed? And
Yeah, our garden is a community garden, and so what we do is we give them the land, and they use our water, and we get the first 25% of what they grow, and then we have an option to buy whatever's left. And if we don't buy it, then they're free to take it and use it in their home, or they can bring it to market and sell it themselves.
Oh.
So it's a true community garden. Yeah, trying to
So neat.
maybe we'll get some of our vegetables over in Trenasse soon.
Yeah.
I hope.
So do you have a surplus of vegetables, more you can use in your kitchen? Is
I
that
think
what
we
it is?
will
Okay.
for the first season. This season,
Yeah.
I think we're going to have some extra stuff.
How big of a
We're gonna-
garden is this?
Acre and a half.
Oh, you said that before, acre and a half. Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean that's hard to visualize. What does that look like for city folks like me? That's a lot of lots, right?
Well, I mean, for a city guy like me too, it's
Yeah.
huge. I mean, the farmers out there would say, "Oh, that's nothing," but for us, it's huge. It's a huge undertaking. It's tough to take care of. It's commitment, to take care of those things.
I mean, how big is an acre and a half? I'm thinking like 100 by like. What?
I think it's bigger than that, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
It seems like the Superdome when you're trying to weed it. When you're trying to weed that darn thing, it looks like the state of Louisiana out there.
Wow. That's
So
cool.
Stan, I want to know a little bit about your background.
I grew and sold homegrown tomatoes on the side of the road, and before that, I was a massage therapist. What
Yeah.
I said was, if you're going to open a place called Stinky's, I have to work there. And plus, also, you need to buy my produce. And
Smart
so I want to work there to
businessman.
make sure nobody else is selling you produce.
And you offer them a back rub.
No, not really. So I started.
Hand massaged beef. Hand massaged beef.
So I started out as a waiter, and then 8 years later, I'm on the radio with you, whatever that says.
Well, that's awesome. So
Wait a
it's
second.
like-
You started out as a waiter just 8 years ago,
8 years ago.
and
now you're director.
you're the director of it. So
operations
wait a
for-
second. So 8.1 years ago, whatever. Not long after 8 years ago, you were selling tomatoes on the side of the road.
Homegrown tomatoes.
Yeah, I'm sure they were great tomatoes, but I'm just saying, like that's.
They
you
call
know.
me the Mater Bandit. So, just saying.
The Mater Bandit.
Mater Bandit.
I think you need to talk to those kids at Cafe Hope.
Oh, I
That's
plan
a
on
great
it.
story.
Trust
That's a
me, I plan
fantastic
on it.
story. Just don't give them a massage. That could be. You
I
could
still-
get,
Yeah.
I don't know if his insurance covers
Oh,
that.
come on, man.
I just don't think you move up in the restaurant business that fast. I think there was some massaging going on.
Yeah,
somewhere.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm stupefied. Margo, continue. I don't know what to say next. Wow.
Well, we do. We have a part of the show where we go. It's called Off the Menu,
Oh, right.
where we ask you something you would not be asked on a resume for any respectable job. Or so I will not ask you what you would do, what else you would do as a career, because that would, you've already had an interesting career.
No, I bet you he's got
background.
other ideas too. This is probably not the last for you. I
Yeah,
bet.
well, you get to ask Stan. I am going to ask Luis. I get to ask the guest.
Okay.
This is a very serious question.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't
ready.
know if you can handle it.
Should I take a sip
Yeah.
of my NOLA
Yes,
beer
I'm
first?
just-
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm going to I'm drinking the ginger ale, by the way, which is
She's lying.
delicious.
I had a blonde tonight.
Yeah.
A blonde.
Yeah, sure.
Beer, he means.
Yeah, absolutely.
For his wife that's listening.
Absolutely.
He doesn't mean Stan. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Okay,
I would
I'm
like
ready.
everybody to be very serious for
Okay.
this. 'Cause, no. So if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh my God. I'd rather ask what I wanted to do if I wasn't director of Cafe Hope. That would have been an easy one.
You can do it with your superpower.
Okay. Actually, I want to go down and be next to Stinky's Fish Camp, and I want to open Louis Lotions. Can you imagine Louis Lotions on a beach, right? And we're going to be different than everybody else because for $1 more, we'll apply the lotion for you. I'm going to be a millionaire one day.
Did you just come up with that on the just out of the blue?
On the
Just- that's
spot.
it, yeah.
On the spot?
Louis Luscious Lotions, huh? How about that?
That was good.
I guess if I had one power, I would want it to be the power to instill belief in people. Because if they can believe in themselves, they can achieve anything. And I see it every day. We have good kids who have had families give up on them, and the school system give up on them, and friends give up on them. And it's tough to believe in yourself, and it's tough to believe that you can change and have a good life with all of that going on around you. So that's the one power I'd want, is to somehow I hope that I'll be able to figure out how do you put belief in people, and how do you, I think that's what really changes lives, when they can start believing in themselves.
Wonderful.
I know that was a serious
No,
answer
that's
to
great.
a serious
That's great.
question, yeah.
Oh. I want to ask you, Margo. How about I ask you a question instead? Would you rather get a massage from Stan or
Or
get lotion from Louis? Yeah. Which would you rather have?
Maybe Stan can massage the lotion in. We got a partnership going.
Okay.
Synergy. That's the synergy you were talking about.
I charge more probably since I have a license.
Wow. Okay. Let's see, Stan. You've been a massage therapist for 10 years. You've been a full-time tomato grower and salesman. You've been a waiter and now director of a successful restaurant family group. What other careers have you had?
I went in the Marine Corps on my 17th birthday, and started from there.
All right. Well, here's my question. I guess I wanted to ask. Like, what's one that you haven't done that you'd like to do? What's left?
What's left would probably be, I don't know. I wanted to be one of those guys that flew crop dusters, but that's kind of going out of the way, so that's not going to work for me.
I don't think that's that much big. That's not as big of a leap as massage therapist to what you're doing.
More spider senses. I don't know. I really don't know what's coming for me, down the path. But I'm real happy with what I'm doing. I'm very excited.
Why does crop dusting appeal to you? What would be a?
I always wanted to fly airplanes.
Can you do something? Can you fly an airplane besides spewing poison across like a
but if you put organic chemicals,
okay, all right.
that would be the part of it.
Organic chemicals. That sounds kind of oxymoronic, doesn't it? I mean, like
depends on what state you live in.
If you're working for Monsanto, that's part of the.
Anything's possible in Louisiana, right?
Well, I did see you can take flying lessons here at the lakefront.
Well, that's how Lee Harvey Oswald got started. He started with flying lessons, ended up killing the president.
Okay, well, I was just thinking another interesting thing for a Stan to do while he's in New Orleans. I'm sure you won't have any free time, but if it's going to lead to something like that, never mind.
Yeah.
I have a lot of free time because I have the best staff in town, and so they really do all the work. I just show up trying to justify my job a lot of times because they truly are the best. So.
All right. So when's Stan going to be the guest speaker at Cafe Hope?
Well, we need to let them get settled. These guys are only open 8 days, so we'll give them a week or two before we drag them in. But we're definitely going to hold them to it. Chef Richard's already committed, and so we're going. Chef Jean Pierre committed over there. He's smiling, but we're going to definitely get him in as well. So we're excited. Just really excited to be a part of the Trenasse family, and I think good things will come out of it. I really do.
Oh wait, so you're you probably said this and I missed it. So you're actually part of. I thought.
No.
No. Oh, you okay?
Just talking.
I thought they bought you up or something.
No.
Okay, I was
Ray
going. Whoa.
is not from here, so he sometimes, like when you talk about things, he gets a little,
You're trying to excuse my idiocy. No,
No,
it's
not
okay.
idiot.
It's called low IQ. I've been
Northerners,
diagnosed.
you're a very warm and welcoming person and really immersed, but I think you still, a little bit more understanding of the
What are you trying to
family
say?
here. I don't know.
It's different.
Just give
I
you
think
a
she's
hard
trying
time.
to say it's different in New Orleans, and you have to be here
Yeah.
a while before you understand what people
He's-
are saying. He's not a yat yet.
I missed something.
Yeah.
All
you're,
right.
You're not full yet. You will
I'm
not
aspiring.
leave Orleans Parish.
Right.
We need to get you to
Need to get you down to
little bit.
Lafitte or
Cafe
something.
Hope.
Yeah, in Lafitte. Let's take him down there, huh?
fishing.
I read about
Fishing
John
in
Lafitte. Is the town named for him?
Yes, absolutely. It is.
All right.
Yeah.
So who's the Chef Jean Pierre that we just referenced? Who's apparently right behind me? Who's that?
I think he's a sous chef over at Trenasse.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So yeah,
Good to
you
see
wanna,
you.
wait, can we be +2?
Yeah, we could be a +2.
Oh,
Why not?
Is this the first time you ever done +2 instead of +1?
Well, it'd be like +1.5 because we're almost done with the show.
Okay.
But that's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
we'll
you
see
doing? Welcome.
if he makes 2. You're still at half.
Okay, that works.
So Chef was, I think Chef, you were with Chef. How long now?
I'm sorry.
With Chef Richard, how long you been with him?
I just started with Chef Richard.
Just started. And so where'd you come from? Look at me, I'm radio host.
It's great.
Where'd you work
come
prior
on.
to Trenasse?
I like my job.
Well, I started cooking in Denver, Colorado, and then I went to CIA in New York, and then I moved to Napa Valley and cooked at Auberge du Soleil, and moved back here and cooked at Lillette and was a sous chef at Commander's for 3 years, and now I'm with Chef Richard and Stan and Tommy Finch.
Cool.
All right.
You
That
have it.
sounds like a pretty interesting career.
It sounds like +2.
Yeah.
Where did you start out? I mean, you grew up in Colorado?
No. I'm from Bayou Lafourche,
Okay.
Galiana. And I moved away. I moved to Denver and started cooking. My first job, I worked at a fast food place called Mr. Cook, and started cooking there. And then I moved to Opelika, Alabama, and started cooking at a place called The Cock of the Walk.
The Cock of the Walk?
The Cock of the Walk.
Wow.
And they really loved me there. And then I moved to Denver, Colorado, and started cooking professionally in kitchens. And then my chef was just like, you need to go to CIA. So I went to CIA and then moved out to Napa and cooked at Auberge du Soleil. Learned a lot of great technique. And I did my externship at Restaurant Danielle in New York when I was in school, which was really cool. Met a lot of cool people and learned a lot of cool stuff. And now I'm here working for some really great people, and we're going to do really great things.
Well, this is very exciting to have such wonderful things going on in our city. People like yourself, Luis, sorry.
Lewis is fine. Luis. I've been called a lot worse.
And then y'all opening up. It's really great.
So what's next for the restaurant? What have you been? Now you're 8 days in. What's coming up next?
Just trying to solidify everything. We just
Expanded
found
hours.
standard
expanded menu.
hours. Yeah, just trying to. We finally know where the salt's gonna live. So now we're just waiting to feed the people, and they'll be coming soon. But the food is delicious and fresh, and it's gonna be really a great experience. And we can't wait for people to come down and see us.
All right.
And will you tell our listeners, do y'all have a website as well that we can find?
Stan knows it.
We do if you go to www.trenasse.com.
And everybody knows how to spell Trenasse, right?
Trenasse.
All right. Cool.
What I think I did a little research. What Trenasse means, like it's a pathway to a bounty or something.
Trenasse is in a marsh. It's a man-made cut through to basically a honey hole, like Chef Guidry said, and they cut through it. Then the fish have to escape and come out, and of course, fish fear the name Trenasse.
That's awesome. All right. It looks like we are out of time. I can't believe it. That went by so quickly. We'll have to have you back on the show. We didn't give you justice here. That was too short, too brief. Well, thank you so much. You've been wonderful guests. We've really we've been able to spend a little bit of time with you, and hopefully we'll get to know you a little better as we come visit. Our special guest tonight on Midnight Menu Plus One was Luis Arocha, and his Plus One was Stan Meadows. You can find out more about Cafe Hope and the Word of Mouth group and Trenasse and all the rest by following links on our website, itsneworleans.com.
And thanks tonight to Petite Pet Care for loving care when you're out at Trenasse or volunteering at Cafe Hope. Call petitepetcare.com. And also a special thanks to NOLA Brewing, our host tonight. See you next time on Midnight Menu Plus One. Till then, I'm Margo Moss.
And I'm Ray Canada. Good night. Midnight Menu Plus One is produced by Margo Moss, Grant Morris, and me, Ray Canada. Our technical director is Chris Keogh.
You can find photos from tonight's show on our website, itsneworleans.com. On itsneworleans.com, you can also check out our blog. You can listen to lots more episodes of Midnight Menu Plus One and our other shows, including Out to Lunch, Happy Hour, True to the Game, and Mindset.
You can hook up with me and Margo anytime by following Midnight Menu Plus One on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can also Google Midnight Menu Plus One, and we come right up.
The fabulous audio quality of this show is brought to us by PreSonus Audio. For more information about PreSonus recording equipment, go to presonus.com.
Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For all of us here at Midnight Menu Plus One, thanks for joining us. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margo Moss. We look forward to seeing you back here next week on Midnight Menu Plus One.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green potty mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. U.S. only.